Hello everybody. Today in this video we're going to be talking about one new topic, which is the mfiles. From the beginning of the series till this video, we have been doing all the calculations in this area, which is the command window, and every time we do the calculations the results show up here, and we see them here as well in the workspace. But in many cases you will not be interested in just one equation or one calculation. In many cases we will be interested in having a series of equations that are dependent. So you calculate x and then calculate y based on x and then z based on y and so on. And in this case, it's not the best thing to do is to use the command window. You need to have somewhere where you put all the codes and then you run the file and get the final answer without having all the calculations showing up to you. And in other cases, which we'll see in the future, like the for loops, if conditions, and while loops, there is no way you can do them here easily. It will be very tedious and wasteful, time-wasting process. What we're going to be showing you today is the mfile or the script file. So when you see here, there is something called new script, or when you press Ctrl N, it will open a new window. So this window looks pretty much like the command window, but it doesn't have these two arrows, which means that it's not gonna process the command that you are typing now. This is where you will put all your files. I'll just so you'll put all your files, and then all your calculations, and then at the end you will run the file. And this is why you see this now. This ribbon usually or we never opened this ribbon before, and this ribbon is related to the mfiles, to open new mfile, save mfile, to insert something here, put breakpoints. We'll talk about this later. Run the file. So this is these are all mfile related things. So we'll do very simple file now. Let's say we want to have a file that will calculate some variables, anything, and then this is what we're gonna do. So let's say I want to first to put some notes to the user who will open this file, so he understands what this file is doing. So let's say I will write this file calculates x, y, and z. From what we see here, it looks like it doesn't look like a note. It looks like a command because something is in black, other in purple, and then back in black, and then in purple. So the way you put a command is as it shows here. You would put the command by pressing Ctrl R, and actually Ctrl R just puts a percentage sign in the beginning. You can do this manually by yourself. Like here I put the percentages, and this is an example of an mfile. So it works both ways. Either you do it here or from here. Anyway, so now you can start, and this will not count in the file as executable functions. It's like nothing for him, for Matlab. So let's say I will put x as a random number. So there is a function called randy which creates a random number, and you need to tell Matlab what is. I'll use this syntax here. What is the minimum and the maximum? So it will be 0 and 100. And what is the size? How many variables you want to have? I'd say like 50. So I have 50 random numbers between 0 and 1000. And then y would be square root x multiplied by 10. I'm just typing any random things. And z is y power 1.5. And then at the end I want to plot x versus y. I'm doing this just to show that you can do anything, writing equations, calculating variables, and even plotting. And we'll make it red solid circle, and then x versus z, and we'll make it black dotted line, and green for no, not green, square. I'm sorry, square, and I'm done. Once you're done, you need to save the file, and to save the file, you would better choose where you're saving the file. So I would save it by pressing Ctrl S, or save it from this button here, and I'd say it mfile example. And now it's done. You would notice some things before we run the file. The first is that there's some warnings here. This right bar, it shows the warnings, and all the warnings in these lines is 4, 5, 6. It says that or it tells you terminate the statement with semicolon to suppress the output. If you're not interested in that output, put a semicolon. And when I put the semicolon, this warning here disappears. The same for this, and the same here. Let's say I want to see that it's not an error that will prevent the file from running, but it is just a warning. It's not a problem. And you'd see here that when you do some edits before saving, there is a small asterisk here, or star, at the end of the file. Once you press Ctrl S, it disappears, like telling you that take care, you have not saved your changes yet. You'll also notice that there are these texts beside the numbers of the row of the lines that have the equations. The first 3 lines do not have equations; they're not counting. It's not something that Matlab will do. So it just tells you by doing this that these are the stuff that I'm gonna do the calculations for. One other thing is that, okay, let's run the file now. I'll press run, and now what we see here, oh wow, it's crazy. Anyways, so we have the plot is done, and we have here, this is the variable. So we have here the variables x, y, and z. It's like 50. Oh, it's a matrix that's 50 by 50. Wow, yeah, that's why it's large. And this is one good thing that we saw this now, that you can edit the file by without writing the whole code one more time. So I noticed that this is matrix 50 by 50 instead of just 50 numbers. So I'll make it 50 by 1, and I would make it I will not make it square root. I will make it x over 5. Or I'll make it like sine x. I just need something that will not create any errors. And you can type clear and CLC, anything you can do, and then press F5. There is an error here. I would make it. Oh, okay. So it tells you there is an error in line 8. So when you press on line 8, it tells you that it is. I think it needs this. And now it's done. It's just any crazy numbers because I'm plotting anything, so I wouldn't really care about what I'm seeing here. But I'm happy that it's doing the plot the same way. It's a square with dotted black line, and it's a circle with solid red line, exactly as I requested. And you can see that we can see only z here, while x, y, and z are showing up here. In some cases, you would find that and especially in the large files, that there is an error that you cannot track. And one way you can track it is by doing what's called the breakpoints. A breakpoint is a place where you would ask Matlab to stop the calculations before. So I would, for instance, click here or stand here and press F12. And when you run the file one more time, you would see that it's calculated already x, and it's stopping here. And this green arrow tells you that I'm here now. And the run button now turned to be continue. So when you press continue, you would run the file and produce the output. I'll do it one more time, and then you can see there is it's called a step or line, run the next line, or by pressing F10. By doing this, you're doing the calculations line by line by line. It's not doing all the calculations suddenly. So it's giving you a lot of options that you can do the calculations by doing line by line, or by doing based on the breakpoints. Let's say you would do this on every 2 or 3 lines, and this is very helpful to track the error you can do, or the line by line, as you can do line and see where the error occurs. So this is all for now for the mfiles. I'll stop now, and the next video we will see another thing that we will do with the mfile, which is the user defined function. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.